What is going on, everyone? Thrift Barringer here. Richard Holdridge, your voices for GIAA.TV, and we are finally here. It's time for the GIAA Semi-finals. We are live from Columbus State. That's where me and you will be calling semi-final games for the next 2 days. There's also another location at Bruton Parker that we are excited about. Thrift Barringer, Richard Holdridge. Man, can you believe it? It's almost at the end of the basketball season.
Two fantastic locations, 8 teams over here in Columbus, 8 other going to be playing in the semifinals for the next 2 days.
Wow.
We've got 2 fantastic locations. Bruton Parker, same place as last time for 1A and 2A. This year, we got a new location. The home of the GIAA championships from last season is going to be the home of the semifinals for 3A and 4A. So we're excited to be back here at the Lumpkin Center on the campus of Columbus State University, and we will be on the call for the 3A and 4A championships the next couple of days.
We are presented by the Beck Center, and all championships are presented by the Beck Center, and we appreciate Roger Beck and the Beck Center of Academic and Athletic Success for their support of us here at the GIAA. Here on our Ultimate Preview show, we did that last night. Today is just a pregame show we're going to do every single day, so be ready around 12 o'clock Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to get you ready for the day. Come to the Facebook page and the YouTube channel. Me and Rich are going to get you ready for today's games. If you want to hear the ultimate preview for all classifications, who we have in the state championship, and more, you need to go watch last night's Inside the GIAA show.
Yes.
That was a lot of fun. Rich, I know you enjoyed doing it too, from the Beck Center.
Yeah, it was a very good show, well-informed. If you want to have some familiarity with the GIAA schools and where your team is playing and what time, that is the show to watch. And also, don't forget, tomorrow when we do our show at noon, we're going to recap the day before and the action from all the classifications. So get ready for that. But we are excited about having just a fun action of games. We may even have some repeat champions.
Yeah.
We've got some underdogs.
Rematches from last year's championship and more, man. I know you're excited about it.
We got a Cinderella story starting things up, a 6 seed taking on a 7 seed.
Took down undefeated teams in the 3A classification. So we're going to talk about that and more. By the way, I need to correct myself. Yesterday I said it's $39.99 for each location. That is wrong. It is $39.99 to watch 8 games. So if you're going to have access, you pay the $39.99 each day. You're going to have access to both locations.
Nice.
So that is 8 games you get to watch for $39.99. That's $5 a game.
You
Come
can't
on.
beat that.
Cannot beat that price on GIAA.TV. Once you buy it, you get access to the Bruton Parker. That's 1A and 2A. And you get access to 3A and 4 here at Columbus State. You can go back and forth. Heck, you got them on multiple smart screen TVs. We don't care what you do with it. Yeah. It's only $39.99, and you can do the same thing on Thursday. Then Friday and Saturday is $39.99 to watch all the games in the state championship, Richard. And I know you're excited about the upcoming state championship, as am I. Should be a lot of fun. And for the finals, one price gets both days. So the same price for the finals will get you both days. Come on. They're making it affordable, accessible. You cannot beat those prices. And then afterwards, it'll be uploaded to the vault, which I think is the best subscription I got, Richard. Access to all GIAA games we've ever done in the vault to be able to watch and replay all the games from this past weekend and from many other years in the past as well. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back from break, we're actually going to talk about Bruton Parker, that's got 1A today, and then we'll wrap it up with Columbus State 3A here on Inside the GIAA pregame show presented by the Beck Center. We'll be right back after this.
This copyrighted broadcast, presented exclusively on GIAA.TV, is copyrighted by the Georgia Independent Athletic Association, a division of the Georgia Independent School Association, for the private use of our audience. It may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of the Georgia Independent School Association.
Here from the Lumpkin Center, it's Rich, it's Thrift, your voices for GIAA.TV. And we're going to start with the 1A classification. And we got the girls and boys playing today. And the first game that is going to be up is at 3 p.m. That is Citizens Christian in the girls' side. That is one of my teams to win it all this year. I've been high on them all season long. They're the 3 seed taking on the 2 seed St. George. We already picked this matchup, but what are you looking forward to as it's playing tonight at 3 p.m. That's the kickoff game at Bruton Parker. St. George and Citizens Christian, 2 versus 3.
Two fantastic matchups between St. George and Citizens Christian. I'm looking for an evenly matched contested game where you have just back and forth going.
Definitely a coin toss, right?
Yeah, it's really a toss-up. I had a hard time trying to pick this matchup. Usually the 2-3 matchups in the semifinals are probably the toughest ones to pick because they're so evenly matched.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And then right after that will be the 2-3 for the boys. So it's going to be girl, boy at
Right.
each location for the next 2 days. The next game will be at 4:30. That is First Preparatory Christian Academy taking on Robert Toombs. That
Yes.
is 2 versus 3. Now here, I like at First Preparatory Christian Academy. They've been playing great all season. They're actually ranked number 1 in the polls, but they're ranked number 2 in the seed. I'm going FPCA heading to the championship. Are you picking an upset, Richard? What do you think about this game?
No, give me First Preparatory Christian. I think that they've been playing fantastic all season long. They deserve to be here, and I think they move on. And one thing about single A, we've had some teams that have, with the reclassification that moved on, like Monsignor Donovan
Yes.
has gone on to 2A. I mean, we have some new teams that are coming into 1A and brand new teams coming in from other leagues and the GHSA, the GAPs. And so it's a lot of fun, but we're going to have a new champion in single A.
No doubt about it. And then at 6 o'clock, it's 1 versus 4. Fullington and Robert Toombs. Fullington's been ranked number 1 all year long in the 1A classification. We had their coach on and inside the GIAA a few weeks back. What are you looking forward to in this one? Do you think there's a potential for an upset here? Robert Toombs has a chance. Them and Citizens Christian both have both girls and boys that are still alive to maybe do the ultimate thing, which is sweeping the classification, which we saw last year with Pacelli and Lakeview. What do you think about 1 and 4 for girls? Citizens Christian, Fullington and Robert Toombs, that is going to be taking place at 6 o'clock at Bruton Parker.
One thing we learned about Robert Toombs during football season is their record does not reflect the type of team they are.
No, they won a championship.
They play tough competition.
Right.
And Robert Toombs, they can get the upset, but Fullington Academy has just been number 1 for a reason because they have been consistently number 1 all season. And usually these teams that are number 1 all season, they tweak some things, but they're on a mission to win a championship. And that's really the mindset of Fullington Academy. But, it is basketball. Upsets can happen. The rim behind us could bounce funny. I mean, they're playing in a different location they've never played in. So this is going to be interesting, but I like Fullington Academy.
Okay, and again, that's at Bruton Parker later tonight. All these games in 1A are at Bruton Parker, and you can find them on GIAA.tv. And the final game, prime time, number 1 Citizen Christian taking on Thomas Jefferson, who upset St. George in the boys classification. Again, Citizens Christian for the boys and the girls. I got a sweep, the one I did in my preview from last night, but looking forward to Thomas Jefferson, Citizen Christian at 7:30 tonight, Bruton Parker on GIAA.tv.
I got Citizens Christian. I think that Citizens Christian is going to end up getting the win, and they're just a fantastic program. So is Thomas Jefferson. These 1A schools, they have just passionate fan bases. They're smaller schools. They've got athletes that play multiple sports.
Yeah.
They are dedicated. They know that the path is there. And I'm looking forward to seeing just a fantastic matchup.
I am too, Richard. And again, let's go over those one more time. At 3 o'clock, kicking off the day, is St. George and Citizens Christian in the girls. That's 2 St. George, 3-seeded Citizens Christian. At 4:30, it's 2-seeded FPCA taking on 3C Robert Toombs for the boys. Then we go back to the girls at 6 p.m. Number 1 Fullington taking on number 4 Robert Toombs. And then at 7:30, number 1 Citizens Christian for the boys taking on number 5 Thomas Jefferson. All those will be at Bruton Parker. You can watch them on GIAA.tv. We're going to take another quick break. When we come back from break, we're going to talk about where we are at Columbus State University in the 3A classification. And we got some great ones for you. I promise you, some Cinderellas and more. We'll be right back after this.
GIAA.tv now brings you more live coverage of more sports than ever before. Announcing GIAA.tv Lite with live coverage of swim, wrestling, cheer, and more. GIAA.TV Lite is the next best thing to being there. From one screen, you will hear the crowd, see the action, the scores, the stats, and more. With no play-by-play or instant replays, GIAA.TV Lite is half the price of our regular broadcast. Announcing GIAA.TV Plus. With all of your fan favorites, GIAA.TV Plus now adds volleyball, softball, all-star football, and more. Featuring all the play-by-play, instant replays, multiple angles, and more, all for less than the cost of 2 adult tickets to the event. Don't miss 1 second of the action all year long, only on GIAA.TV.
Back to Inside the GIAA or GIAA.TV pre-game show here on Wednesday. We're kicking off semifinals. We just talked about 1A at Bruton Parker. Now let's talk about 3A at Columbus State as we are getting prepared here. The game that's going to start us off, I'll be on the call with you, Richard, for this. At 3 o'clock, it's the two Cinderella teams. John Millage took down undefeated Terrell as the 7 seed, and Westminster Augusta took down the 3 seed defending 2A champion Piedmont.
Yeah.
And what was a classic is we had Marissa Holder taking on India Williams, and India ended up having 61 points for Westminster of Augusta. So we got 6 versus 7. What are you looking forward to in this matchup at 3 p.m.?
Well, both teams are playing with house money.
Yeah.
So they're going to be playing loose. They're going to play fancy free.
I can't wait to watch India Williams, to be honest with you. She put up 61. What are we going to see here today?
Give me India. I think India Williams is the type of player who could take over a game. I think it's going to be a close game because John Millage has always had a tough schedule. Their record does not reflect the team they are, and they play a lot of 4A schools. But Westminster Schools of Augusta has got probably right now the MVP of this total. If you had the whole playoffs, India Williams is right now the MVP, especially with that incredible performance. I mean, I would not be shocked if she dropped 40 tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, so I like Westminster Schools of Augusta in a slight upset. Well, it wouldn't be called an upset. In a slight victory to move on to the championship.
All right, then now moving on. Let's go to 4:30. We got St. Andrews and Lakeview. This was a rematch of last year's state championship in 3A. Number 2 St. Andrews taking on number 3 Lakeview. It is going to be a lot of fun at 4:30. This is probably if I had all the semifinal games for all classifications, the one I circled the most and I kept coming back to was this one because the rematch of last year's championship.
Yeah, and oddly enough, the rematch of last year's championship just happens to be.
And by the way, went to overtime last year, and Lakeview won by 2 points. So that's how evenly matched these teams are.
Yeah, they're evenly matched. 3A, you just have different classifications. Heritage is no longer in 3A, but I think that this is this was the rematch of the 3A, St. Andrews. Yeah, so this is gonna be a great game.
A great game, and then again, it was a lot of fun calling that game last year.
Oh yeah, it was.
So again, 3 o'clock, it's girls. John Millage and Westminster, 6 versus 7. Then at 4:30, it's the boys, St. Andrews and Lakeview, right here at Columbus State University 3A classification. At 6, we got the number 1 team, defending champion Lakeview, taking on Frederica. That's a good one, Richard. I've been circling this one, another one too. What are you seeing this one at 6 p.m.? You will be on the call for play-by-play for this one.
Yeah, Lakeview is the defending 3A champions. I think that they are poised to go back-to-back. I think Frederica Academy is also a very good team in 3A that plays a lot of teams like Deerfield Windsor and Westfield School. They do have some competition, but I just tell you that Lakeview Academy is just playing on another level. I mean, they're the champions for a reason, and I think that they know what it takes to win.
No doubt about it, Richard. And then at 7:30, the nightcapper, it's number 1 Brookwood and the boys taking on number 4 Deerfield Windsor. Really, in this 3A classification for boys, you could have coin toss. Any of these teams could be number 1. Any of them could be number 4. This is another one that's going to be a lot of fun. Lane Seals led Deerfield Windsor in scoring last time. Brookwood dominated Valwood. Brookwood's been number 1 the entire year since the rankings came out. They're 27-2. What are you looking forward with this one, Rich? I know you're excited about it.
Well, Brookwood's not just the number 1 team in 3A. They're one of the top teams in the entire GIAA.
No doubt.
When they had the overall rankings, they were number 2 behind Pacelli.
Yes.
I think it's going to be tough to try to beat Brookwood. But there's a team that could take down Brookwood, it is Deerfield Windsor, because they do have that championship pedigree in other sports.
Yep.
We see them win a football championship. I know that some of the football players that are on the Deerfield Windsor's team wants to try to get a basketball championship. They know how to win. They know what it takes. And you talk about Lane Seals and just being a tremendous athlete. We saw him in Statesboro and, win a football championship. The top 4 seeds in 3A, it's a coin flip, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
You could put Deerfield Windsor 1, and no one would have a problem with it. Brookwood can go to 2. I mean, but the 1-4 matchup, I know it's easy to take the number 1 seed, but it's going to be a close matchup.
And it's going to be a lot of fun calling these games. You get all the 3A here at Columbus State University and find it on GIAA.tv. Again, games start at 3 o'clock at both locations. You pay $39.99. You get access to both locations. That's 8 games at your disposal for only $39.99.
Wow.
Richard, I know you're excited about it. We
What a
can't
deal.
wait. And we'll do an after show later on tonight to kind of recap, and then we'll pregame for tomorrow. If we don't have the recap tonight, we'll talk about it tomorrow on the pregame show at 12 o'clock. We hope y'all enjoyed it today. Enjoy watching some basketball, and we'll see you next time on GIAA.tv.
This copyrighted broadcast, presented exclusively on GIAA.tv, is copyrighted by the Georgia Independent Athletic Association, a division of the Georgia Independent School Association, for the private use of our audience. It may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of the Georgia Independent School Association.